stay tuned because for the next 60 minutes, Motorsports Unlimited is on the air. Hi, I'm Jerry Bryant, and these are the lovely ladies of motorsports. And all this hour, we're going to have 60 minutes of action-packed excitement. All kinds of exciting things will happen. And we got the famous Bill Wildt, and we got all kinds of other good stuff that's happening all this hour. Motorsports Unlimited, 60 minutes of non-stop action. So let's go to the studio right now, huh?
Thanks, Jerry, and hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio headquarters of Chicagoland's most watched, most talked about Access television series. I'm Samantha Bentley, and this is the 999th edition of Motorsports Unlimited. That's right, folks, I said 999. After 20 years, Motorsports Unlimited has reached its 999th episode, and we're taking you to exactly the right place to celebrate. We're going to the 13th annual Joliet Father's Day Weekend Car Show and Festival, better known as that Big Joliet Show. We've been with these folks since they began and feel like we're family. So we think it's appropriate for us to finish the Motorsports Unlimited 3-digit number series at this very special event. Let's get started by joining Bill in Bicentennial Park in downtown Joliet as he chats with the man who created the event and the man who carries it on.
This is indeed a very special edition of Motorsports Unlimited. For those that have been watching our program over the years, you know there are some things that I am particularly proud of, and one of the things that I've been particularly proud of is what is now being referred to continuously as that big show in Joliet. This is my friend. I'm going to have him introduce himself, and then we're going to get to the important guy today. But first of all, tell folks who you are, Baz.
Dick Bazzaroni.
Dick Bazzaroni,
Yep.
and your job at Joliet for how many years was?
31 years as Director of Inspectional Services.
And this is your baby. You contacted me. How many years ago was it now? It's got to be 10 at least
13.
a decade. 13.
This is the 13th show.
13 years ago, Dick called me. He used to see the Oakbrook Terrace car shows that we did on the air, and he called me up and says, can you come down here and do that? And I said, well, I don't really have anything to do with it, but I can put you in touch with the guys. Well, anyhow, he created this monster, and now that he's retired, you got to be pretty proud of it.
Very proud.
Well,
Very
I'm going to tell you a secret that nobody else knows yet. Even Chuck doesn't know this yet. This program is our 999th episode of Motorsports Unlimited. This is the last 3-digit program we're doing, and I can't think of a more appropriate place than to do it right down here with you guys. I'm actually pretty excited about it, and the fact that what started out as a tiny little effort, not knowing what you guys are doing, has turned into that big Joliet show. And the reason this big Joliet show, I know of no other car show that I shouldn't say car show. You're going to say festival in a minute. I know that, but I know of no other car show where they've got a mud bog, where they've got the motocross freestylers, where they've got the burnout contest with nitro cars and all in one thing, and doesn't cost you a dime. It is a huge extravaganza along with a great car show, but that's not all there is to it, of course, because it's a festival. And now the man that has taken over, and as I understand it, you were his assistant for many years.
Yes, I was.
How many years were you Baz's? I keep saying it's Baz. How many years were you Baz's assistant?
I worked for Baz for 18 years, and then, of course, with the car show, I was with him for 10, and this will be my 3rd show that I've done by myself.
Now, we all know that Baz, of course, is a boat guy. That's when we got involved with him, and that's when you guys have I should have said that, too. There's so many things going down here, you don't remember them all. But probably the coolest thing about that big Joliet show is the drag boats on the river. And, of course, Baz is a drag boat guy, but what I didn't know is you're a car guy.
Yep. Yeah, I've always liked cars. Baz and I have always had a lot of fun through the years hanging out with the cars and boats that he's had, and I've had cars and boats, and, yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Now tell the folks who you are.
I'm Dave Mackley. I am the director of the building department now. I took Dick's job.
Took Dick's job, and that meant you inherited this monster.
Yes, I sure did.
Well, I'll tell you something. He's done something pretty cool. I want you to tilt this just slightly. Chuck, you're going to have to tell me how we can tilt this. And what I want the audience to see is that it says Joliet on the helmet. Can you get that? You got it? It says Joliet. These are something special you guys had made up for all the participants?
Yeah, we commissioned this through Bell Helmets. I actually had them take a full-size helmet and took it to a custom painter and had it painted up. And then Bell sent these to have mini helmets made out of them, and we're giving each participant a helmet.
Oh, that is so cool. And once again, I don't, with all of these other hoopla going on, and I suppose I should probably mention you got bands.
Oh yeah, we got
fireworks?
bands, food, fireworks. You mentioned the drags. We got the little drag, the junior dragsters.
Junior dragsters,
I'm sorry.
okay.
And we also have the street bikes here again this year. They're going to be
the sport
doing
bike
wheelies
performers
and
are awesome.
endos, and then of course we got a lot of kids games and food, and it just goes on and on.
This is reason to call this that big show in Joliet, because I know of no other show that incorporates all of this, and you walk down here, it's for free. And by the way, folks, this is not hard to find. You guys help me on this, because for me, it's I-55 to Weber Road to Jefferson, and Jefferson right down here. We are in the heart of downtown Joliet, fair enough?
Yep,
and
yeah.
right across from the riverboats, or is there more than one riverboat thing, and I'm going to confuse people by this?
Well, there's more than one riverboat down here. We actually have Harrah's and the Empress Casino, but
And we're right across from Harrah's, no?
which they changed to Argosy. I'm sorry.
Which they changed to Arkansas, okay.
I always think of it as Empress still, but we are across from Harrah's.
Right across the river. So if you find your way to Harrah's or Argosy,
Harrah's Casino.
you can look across the river, and that's where you
Yep,
go.
we'll be here.
Okay, anything you want to tell us about this year's show that I haven't already alluded to?
Oh, we're doing a lot of the same thing again this year because we've gotten such a big response from people, especially with adding these motorcycle guys, and of course, the drag boats are always such a big attraction.
The
and our
only
burnout
show where you've got that. We're the only show. Usually to see drag boats run, you've got to go someplace way out in the country and everything. This is really right in the heart of the city.
Yeah, we were really very fortunate that we got this waterway running down through here to where we could incorporate that into our show. It really adds a lot to it and makes it kind of unique.
It's very, very cool. In any event, we're going to get into it. Baz, you know what? It's so hard to get him on camera because he keeps wanting to defer now to Dave. I really got a question. 13...
I'm retired.
You're retired, but yeah, like he's retired. How old are you now?
I'll be 65 in 2 weeks.
And who have you got running the boat for you?
Me.
Yeah, see, he's real retired. I really got to ask you though, when you look around, are you proud of what you did?
Yes.
I would think so. It's quite a statement to leave behind. This is something lasting, and you know what I mean?
Well, between Dave Mackley and Gordy,
Got some great people working with you. Yeah.
I couldn't have done it without them.
No, without anything that ever gets done is done with some great people.
That's why it's so easy, because I was the boss, okay? Dave do this, Dave get that, Dave do this. That part was easy. Dave had to work.
Yeah, but I know something. I know you know. Uneasy rests the head that wears the crown. Believe me, I know. Dave, how about it? Anything else you want to tell us before we get underway here?
Well, just that it's really a great show and everybody needs to come down. Our mayor and city manager and all of our council are just 100% behind the show. Everybody loves it, and that's why it still remains free to the public.
And it couldn't happen if they weren't behind it.
Oh, absolutely no, it would not happen because this is a very expensive show to put on.
Well, let me remind you once again that we are in the heart of Joliet, and the Joliet, what everybody refers to now, at least that's the references that I'm getting, as that big show in Joliet, that big Father's Day show in Joliet. Remember, it's an entire weekend. It's not just Father's Day. It's Saturday and Sunday, and at night the bands come out and the fireworks and all that. It's one heck of a party. It doesn't cost you a dime. You're you're cheating yourself if you don't come down here.
It's been fun watching the Joliet leadership develop this event over the years into the largest, most elaborate of all the summer car shows. Hi, I'm Patty Borowitz, and before we get to the event, Bill, Baz, and Dave wanted to mention a couple more things.
One more thing that Baz wanted to add, and I know he's particularly proud of this. He won't, I know it to be true. You would not have the big NASCAR track here in Joliet had it not been for Baz. I will guarantee you would not have had it. You wouldn't have the new road racing course that they put in, or the half-mile track and all that. And he doesn't exactly want to take credit for it, but I want him to take credit for it, and I want it remembered as who was instrumental in getting this done. And maybe that's something you're even more proud of, is Joliet being certainly the motor racing capital of the Midwest and perhaps the country.
Well, go back to day one when I called you and asked for help. You got involved. You guided us along on an awful lot of stuff. And from that point on, out of this car show, the big car show festival, became the drag strip, the NASCAR track, and then they brought in the Autobahn.
Yeah, it was the Autobahn Country Club came in after that.
Tell the audience what the Autobahn is.
The Autobahn is a private club. They got two racetracks out there, north and a south track, that can also be connected into one big track, and it's all private membership, and they've got a lot of big name people out there that run their vehicles, and they've got everything from Formula One cars to the racing bikes and the Mazda series, and then even down to street cars you can bring out there.
There's no question about it. These guys have a lot to be proud of. As a matter as you folks have met Jerry Lockhart on our program many times. Jerry Lockhart's a member of that Autobahn and comes down here with his Ferrari all the time. So there's a number of people that are taking advantage of that. And once again, we're in Joliet. Who would have guessed? Who would have ever guessed that it had it not been for this guy, and I guess I can say these guys now, none of this would have happened. So I'm so proud that they let me call them my friends.
Motorsports Unlimited has enjoyed a wonderful relationship with Joliet, and we were pleased to learn that Joliet was named one of the 50 fastest growing cities in America, and the only one on the list from the northern part of the country. We would like to congratulate Joliet and its leadership. Quite an accomplishment. And by the way, Baz and Dave both said, don't give us the credit. Joliet has the best mayor and city council a city could have, and we feel privileged to be part of their efforts. Hi, I'm Janine Lauschat. Let's begin our look at the event with the wildly popular freestyle motocross exhibition.
You are about to meet at least one of the craziest people you'll ever run into. We've all seen motocross on television, so we all know how crazy it is. Well, if you take just the crazy part and just use that, that's what these guys do. Do I have it about right?
Yeah, well, I mean, some people call it crazy, you know. Call it what you like, but I think it's exciting.
Yeah, I call it crazy. First of all, who are you?
My name is Rudy Waller.
Where are you from, Rudy?
I'm from the Republic of Panama.
That's right. Seems to me we've had you on the show before, haven't we?
Yeah, I've been living in Florida now for about 8 years. I've been doing freestyle motocross here in the United States now for a while. I raced some pro racing, and the last 6 years I've been dedicated to this freestyle motocross, you know, jumping my dirt bike, trying to entertain people.
Well, it's unbelievably entertaining. There's no question about it. And just to give you an idea, folks, what it is, if you go to a regular motocross track, there's all kinds of things that go on there. There's straightaways, there's whoop-de-doos and everything. But the thing that everybody really likes is the air. Am I right?
Well, I mean, that's what I always liked, and I think that's what freestyle motocross started off as, you know, just the guys that didn't want to conform to the rules of riding around a track, circles, you know, and then just the guys that like to jump. I always liked to jump. I was the first guy to go out and hit the jumps on the track, and, you know, it evolves into its own sport. So now I'm glad that it's given me the opportunity to make a living riding my dirt bike.
Probably more so than motocross would have.
Oh yeah, motocross was good to me, you know what I mean? I have no complaints, but this is what I love to do. I can express myself. There's no two jumps the same, so it's just kind of freestyle. It's kind of like whatever I want to do, what I feel like when I'm up there. If I make a mistake, it's all on me. I don't have to worry about somebody landing on me. Even though out here we do some trains for the crowd, you know, where it could get a little hairy, but we try.
Especially if you got an enthusiastic crowd, it gets you into it.
Most definitely. That's another thing about freestyle is that we feed off of the crowd participation. You know, when the crowd gets going, that's what we are. We are entertainers, and every time you hear the crowd going, you don't want to let them down, and you want to go bigger and bigger. You know, so sometimes that causes some mistakes, but we're all professionals, and we try to do the best we can.
Well, as a matter of fact, and Chuck, while we're talking, I'd like to make sure you take a shot over here so we can identify who these guys are. While we're talking, we've covered these things now for 2 or 3 years, and it seems like each year we've got somebody else with, I'm going to call it, how can I say this? Road rash, it's more serious than that. Let's just say visible injuries. There seems to be a part of this sport.
Yeah, most definitely it's a part of it. I mean, it definitely takes its toll on your body. I mean, I get up every morning, you know, it hurts, but it's what I love to do, and I wouldn't change it for anything in the world, you know.
Well, this is what makes, we've already talked about the Joliet, I'm saying it again, how Joliet has become that big Joliet show, and this is a big part of the reason is these freestyle motocross guys. These guys are absolutely incredible, and if you can't be entertained by this, you just flat cannot be entertained. There's just no question about it. One final question. When we're watching, what's the most, is there a more difficult jump, less difficult? I was impressed last year. Had one guy that would kind of lock his front brake and just keep going around in circles, spinning the rear wheels. Looks very different. What's the hard stuff?
Well, you're going to get any kind of tricks from kiss of death to dead bodies.
Kiss of death is what?
Kiss of death is when you jump the motorcycle and you stand the motorcycle completely vertical, and you do a handstand on the top of the handlebars, so your body is in complete line with the motorcycle.
Everything in line?
Vertical, yeah.
Wow.
And you're jumping about 75 feet and 45 feet up in the air. That's one of the more difficult tricks. You know, it's a technical trick. You have a dead body where you pass your body through the front of the motorcycles and you lay horizontally over the front of the top of the bike with your feet out in front of the front tire. You have those.
As if you were being laid out to rest.
Yeah, it's called a dead body. That one is another difficult one. We have a couple guys here that are doing those. We have some rock solids where you jump off and you let the bike go in the air, grab it by both hands, hang off the back, then let it go, float with the bike, and then grab it back and then get back on. So that's a rock solid. We'll be doing some of those. You'll be seeing some heart attacks where you do a handstand completely on the bike, put your feet up and look backwards so you're upside down on the motorcycle. You'll be seeing all sorts of tricks here, and like I said, with the crowd here, we should be going bigger and bigger. We do some trains, some whips where you put the bike completely horizontal up in the air and then bring it back. So you'll be seeing some good entertainment here this weekend. We always try to make it a point to make it to here at Joliet. We like it a lot. This is our 3rd year here, and
yeah, it is. The people like you a lot here too.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask. I already said it was a final question, but I'm going to do a final question because it's my show. I get to do that. I knew Evel Knievel. And that was many, I'm 63, that was many years ago, and he was doing his jumping. I look now at even what just the motocross guys doing a regular motocross event puts to shame some of the jump. When you look back, you're a young guy. I'm sure you weren't familiar with Evel's work when he was doing it. You probably weren't born then. Do you guys see what he did as a big deal, or is it just like, oh, come on, any of us could have done that?
Well, I'm actually one of the older guys here on the circuit. I mean, I'm 34 years old, so I do know quite a bit about
Thank
Evel.
you. He missed the 63 part with me. Go ahead.
Yeah, most of the guys are in their teens to in their late 20s at the, But anyways, yeah, I'm quite familiar with Evel Knievel, and I give all the props to him,
Good. I'm glad you feel that way because he started it for you guys.
There's no comparison of what he did with what we do because the motorcycles he was using had not the same suspension.
Can you imagine trying to do this on an XR 750 Harley?
I couldn't imagine doing the things that he did, you know what I mean? He was an innovator. He brought it to us. He's the one that created this sport,
Boy, am I glad you feel that way.
And we all definitely give respect and props to Evel Knievel. My friend just jumped over the Caesars fountain the other day, did a backflip, 125-foot backflip over it, and people try to compare it to Evel Knievel, but there's
too much has changed. And his bravery cannot be challenged.
Yeah, exactly, and he was the first to do it, you know what I mean? I mean, there's only one Evel Knievel, and I mean, he's the Elvis of motorsports.
Boy, I'm glad you feel that way. Well, folks, like I say, we're going to get out of the way here now because they say they're going to practice a little bit. I want to see if we can get some of it on camera. By the way, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's got to be 90 degrees already. This is going to be a scorcher today. I hope these guys don't get burned out.
There is so much to try to squeeze in at the Joliet Father's Day Car Show Weekend Extravaganza. What with the car show, mud bog, burnout contests, drag boats, we can only bring you a taste. Let's check out a little of the freestyle motocross performance.
This is practice early in the day and provides us with a perfect opportunity to illustrate why kids shouldn't try this at home. The pros make this stuff look easy during a performance, but as you can see, it takes a great deal of preparation to make it look easy. I think it's obvious the riders are concerned about the ramp placement. There isn't enough shutdown area, and they're trying to see what the best way to handle it might be. Of course, these are young guys, so the idea of not doing it wouldn't occur to them. Let's see which one gives it a try first. Doesn't look like there is nearly enough room for them to get the kind of height and speed they need. Still, like a cat toying with a mouse, they probe. This is a little harder run, and he overshoots the landing ramp and ends up on the ground avoiding the fence. It was clear the ramps would have to be moved, and when they're set right, this is what it looks like.
We could easily do an entire program with that particular part of the big Joliet show, but there was so much more, including a great car show.
Of course, we always have to remember that first and foremost, the Joliet Father's Day Car Show, and it's not Father's Day, it's Father's Day weekend. The Joliet Father's Day weekend, car show, festival, extravaganza. Let's just call it that big show in Joliet. That big show in Joliet is first and foremost a great car show. And we've got some great cars here. And by the way, if you hear the engine in the background, that's one of the drag boats warming up the motor. This is so cool down here, you wouldn't believe it. We've got the drag boat warming up the motor over there, and just behind Chuck, I'm sure he can't get the shot. If we can, we'll put it in afterwards. They got the mud bog up on the hill, and the mud bog guys are running one after another. And they've already buried a dozen of them. It's awesome. But we're going to stop at the car show first, and you are?
Tom Biederman.
Where are you from, Tom?
Joliet, Illinois.
And you are?
Cindy Buckley.
From?
Joliet.
Okay, whose car? Who can tell me about it?
It's mine.
Okay, as a matter of fact, we've had this fellow on the show before. Our sharp-eyed viewers are going to know that he had a black 57 Chevy, am I right?
Yes.
So apparently you are cornering the market on 57 Chevys.
Yeah, you can say that.
That's right, because we don't put somebody on again unless they got another car. He said, I got another one. I said, okay, tell us about it. What do we got?
It's a 1957 Chevy sedan delivery. I don't know, his body's basically stock with a 348 with a tri-power in it.
So this is a bit, well, 57 wouldn't have had the big block, so that had to be installed. 58 was the first year of the big block.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Did you do anything to the car, or did you buy it this way?
I did everything to the car, frame off.
That's what I'm getting. You did a frame off?
Yes.
Now, I don't recall. Are you a body man, or?
No, I'm not.
What do you do for a living?
Mechanic.
Boy, I mean, a frame off is a...
Yeah, this is the third one I've done.
Wow, very nice. Did you help him at all?
A little bit.
Folks, what he's talking about when he says frame off, it means that the body that you see on the car and the engine and trans and everything else, all were laying in separate pieces at one time or another, and probably every part and piece was either polished, plated, or painted before reassembly?
Yes.
How long did it take you?
Actually, less than a year and a half.
Boy, now you work fast.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you something, it's beautiful. This is a very unusual style, by the way, folks, the sedan delivery. This was kind of based on the Nomad, wasn't it?
Yes, kind of, without the no windows in the sides.
Right, but it was from the factory this way.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of. This is a sort of a throwback to the old days when they used to have the sedan deliveries back in the, I want to say 30s maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, anything you haven't told the audience about the car that you'd like them to know you're particularly proud of?
I don't know. Just basically, I pretty much did the whole car myself, between painting it, the motor, trans, everything. It was all done.
How big a garage?
The garage I work in is 20 by like 30.
So it's like a 3-car garage.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. It's beautifully done. I can tell you something. If this guy's not a body man, he ought to think about it because the panels are absolutely straight, and being a mechanic, I'm sure it runs all right.
Yes.
What trans?
It's a 700 overdrive.
You didn't want a 4-speed or anything in there?
Nah, not for cruising around.
Yeah, that's so much fun. Hey, he's too young. Anyway, Chuck, show the audience the car. A great piece, 57 Chevy sedan delivery, and I say so many times you can't do a car show without a 57 Chevy, so I got it in.
The sounds of the drag boats warming up was more than Bill could resist. He and Chuck made their way over to their area of the show to chat.
We are in a little corner of the big Joliet show where they've got a few of the drag boats parked. And I came over here. Chuck, don't come too fast here. I want the audience to see that you don't have to worry. It's broiling hot here, and it's over 90 degrees at 10 o'clock this morning, but there's plenty of shade, so you don't have to be afraid of the sun beating down you. Now you can come on over here, Chuck, because we've got, once again, the man that started it all, our old friend Baz, who is a... how would you say it? Building inspector / boat racer, or boat racer / building inspector?
Boat racer first.
Boat racer first? Probably always, right?
And retired.
Yeah, once again, tell the folks who you are.
Dick Bazzaroni.
And if you would, you are?
Zach Siegel.
Okay, and your role with Baz?
Yeah, passenger.
Pat, you taking for a ride?
You bet.
Okay.
Got a nice Ford Cobra out here on the show.
Cool. Cobra with double overhead cam, 4-valve supercharged engine?
Yep.
Independent rear suspension?
Oh, yeah, I saw the axle swap in there.
Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. Anyhow, we'll talk about that. It's real important. Anyway, you've been a drag boat racer as long as I've known you. And once again, how old are you now?
65.
65. You still figure you can handle it, right?
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a slow boat.
Well, what do you? How would you measure that? You run quarter mile times?
Quarter mile, 125 miles an hour.
That's not a slow boat because, well, what I'm getting at is on water, speed is real treacherous. You know, Gene Snow got out of the drag boats because he had too many accidents that he couldn't figure them out.
Yeah, but he went a lot faster.
No question. They were over 200 miles an hour and all that stuff. But even 125 on water, that's really cooking. Question, do you still enjoy it at this age?
Yes. I enjoy it more now because Dave Mackley took over, so I got more time to relax. I can get ready instead of running around like a chicken with my head chopped off.
Well, tell us.
Which you know what it's like.
Oh, I know what it's like. Tell us. Give us a thumbnail sketch. What do you got on the boat?
540 Merlin, big block, 800 horse, 250 horse nitrous.
And the hull?
Hull's a Cheyenne tunnel, pickle fork.
It's beautiful. Now, what would you dream about if you could have the drag boat you want What would it be?
Alcohol hydro closed capsule.
You know already.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make any difference how old we are. It never stops. Thanks, Baz. Have we got the people that are with this boat over here? First of all, as I understand it, you're one of the organizers, and you are.
Don Little out of Yorkville, Illinois.
And as Baz tells me, you kind of take care of the whole thing for him as far as organizing it and all that?
Well, Baz gets a lot of credit. He just tries to push it off everybody else.
I will not get him to take credit for anything, and all I can tell you, folks, if it hadn't been for Baz, none of this would be happening.
It never would have happened. We come down here the first year with him 13 years ago, and we're still with the guy. So
it's very cool. So you're what, ahead of a club or what?
No, we just raced, and I've known Baz for a long time.
So you take care of the organization?
Try to.
Okay, as I understand it, we got the owner of this boat right here.
Yes,
Don't run
sir.
away, you're fine. Right where you are. Just step right on forward, and you are?
Peter Selvey.
Where are you from, Peter?
Wonder Lake.
Tell us about your boat, please.
19-foot Stealth, 18-foot 9 actually, brand new last year. Crashed the old boat 2 years ago. And
now wait a minute, you don't have to, you crashed the old boat, so the obvious answer then is get another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Been doing it a long time, so it's too much
races
fun to quit.
are all the same, yeah.
Yeah, motor and everything was still fine, so we just switched everything around.
Yeah, we were just over at they were practicing the freestyle motocross, and they didn't have enough shutdown area, and one of the young guys, they were in shirt sleeves, got into the ground and defense hard because there wasn't enough shutdown area, and I went running over to him, you okay, and he says, yeah, I'm okay.
People think this is crazy,
He
but
jumps,
those guys,
he jumps,
I'll tell you what,
crazy.
He jumps back on it and starts doing it again with the blood dripping, you know.
Look,
So.
no elbow pads, no knee pads, nothing.
What kind of numbers on the boat?
What do you mean?
Performance.
It's hard to say. I really haven't had it on the clocks yet.
Okay, well, can you handle Baz?
I think so.
Baz, he says he can handle you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is this faster boat?
Well, if I cheat a lot, he has trouble, but he still beats me.
Yeah, as the organizer, he can get the flagman to do it the way he wants to.
And we'll find out after a while, you know.
Anything you haven't mentioned about the boat that you're proud of, you like to
brand new fresh motor. Donnie helps me out a lot here with the hardware. He's got the same identical hull, but he's got a little bit more motor than I do.
It's about as pretty a boat as you can have. One thing about boats that's wonderful is a little bit like when we cover sport aviation. The pictures are always pretty. They're colorful. The lines are sleek and everything. They're really beautiful.
I got the same colors as the old boat I had, so.
It's gorgeous. Now, we've got one more to cover here. We've left these guys sitting out in the sun far too long here, and watch how spry I am. Believe me, folks, it's like 95 degrees now, and I'm happy to get over here into the shade, and you are.
I'm Emily Anderson.
Where are you from?
Skokie.
Now, I understand this is your boat and you drive it.
Someday.
You don't do it yet?
Not yet.
Do you want to?
Maybe.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you go a lot faster than him. Look how small you are. Okay, let me come down here. I'm only having a little bit of fun, and you are?
John Anderson.
Where are you from, John?
Skokie, Illinois. This is my middle daughter, Emily.
Okay, and I don't know, is she ready to try, or what do you think?
Not very soon. Okay. Very soon. She's a big help, helping me turn wrenches and do the maintenance on the motor.
Yeah, do you enjoy going with?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you something that's cool. As a matter of fact, come on over here now because we've got I want to make sure the engine got in a shot because I'm Motorsports Unlimited and I like that stuff. We talk all the time on the various car shows and the racing shows and all that kind of stuff. And typically it's a son and a father. And I always say, is there anything much cooler than working with father and son, working on a car projects or something like that? And it has happened a couple of times where it's a father and daughter. And you know what? I think that it might even be cooler.
I think in the very near future, you may see her in this the driver's seat in this boat. In fact, it was just last Thursday that my son drove the boat in a legal first race, and he did very well.
Is there any difference working with your daughter? I'm talking about not necessarily racing. I'm talking about working on the boat. Any difference with your daughter or with your son, or is it both cool?
I would have to say they're both cool.
Both cool, but different?
A little bit of difference, but they're both very, very helpful.
Yeah, life doesn't get much better than that, though, does it?
It really doesn't.
No, I know. Believe me, I understand. Anyway, Chuck, if you would, I want you to finish up by doing a nice sweep of the boats here because, once again, we got a lot to show you, folks, and we've got to move on.
The Big Joliet Father's Day show is the only one we know that includes drag boats in action. Very cool. Now let's get to that Cobra they mentioned. Bill has issues.
Well, here it is. This is the Cobra we were talking about, and we're going to fight on this one a little bit, but not really, because what I want to do is educate the audience, and he's got one and I don't, so he knows more about it than I do, except I spent a great deal of time in Harvey's call. If you'll recall, the American Street Machines member, Cobra dude, Harvey, and it was one of the most impressive cars that I've ever driven, street cars I've ever driven. Same as this one, it's a double overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder, all aluminum, supercharged V8. Oh, you know?
Yep.
You know Harvey?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I see him testing tunes usually at Route 66 on Tuesdays.
Okay, because we did a whole half-hour program about his car.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty. So I spent a lot of time in it. Very, very impressive car. I wanted to find out exactly what we were dealing with. Did we have a car that was similar to a 409, or was it something newer or something, whatever it was? Well, it's a real thoroughbred, tons of power, fast, but a little different from the 409s and stuff like that, and much quicker revving and all that sort of thing. These Cobras, now Ford changed it after this, I don't remember what year it was, came with fully independent suspension all the way around, and I've heard people do nothing but complain about the independent rear suspension.
Yeah, 99 is when they changed it, when they came out with the new Cobra, new body style Cobra, but they were having problems. I had an 01 before this one, and I broke half shafts all day long.
The part of it that bothers me is I like to think that motorsport is about state-of-the-art technology and all that sort of thing. And clearly, independent suspension is better in every way. You've got a better favorable sprung to unsprung weight ratio. You have a much better ride. You don't get that kick in the back from the banjo going over a railroad track and all that sort of thing. And there is absolutely no reason why independent suspension can't be used for drag racing purposes too. When every Indy car uses independent suspension, every Formula One car. For some reason, the drag racing community has just stayed away from it. They hang those 9-inch Fords under there. They're used to it. They're confident in it. They don't break. They're strong and all the rest of it. But I think there's a chance to pick up additional traction by making one of these work. And if you can make a Corvette work and not give wheel hop and all that, that's an independent suspension. Yep. There's no reason. You follow my line of thought?
Yeah, I follow you, but I don't know. I was always having trouble, getting traction.
You had enough.
Wheel hop. Yeah, and people breaking it all day long, and I have enough power in here that I'll break them just like them. And it costs a lot of money to put a new half shaft in there.
Okay, if I didn't get it before, let me have your name, please.
Zach Siegel.
From?
Lockport.
Okay, what kind of numbers with the car?
Best I run before I saw the axle was 12.2 at 114.
Okay, so Harvey's running quicker than you are.
Yep, he should be right now, but I'm hoping for a low 11 now.
Okay, so you guys have like what, informal?
Yeah, we'll see.
I love that.
I'll run him.
I absolutely love that. I'm going to send him a little piece of the tape. Anything you haven't told the audience about the car you like? First of all, very quickly, make your model.
It's a 2003 Cobra. It's the 10th anniversary edition, so it's got the red and black seats, the different rims, and I'm running about 472 at the wheel right now, 512 torque at the wheel.
Okay, and obviously enjoying the car.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing to drive it.
It is. I can tell you that was one thing that was really nice when I spent the day in Harvey's car doing the test piece and all that stuff. It's one of those you start thinking because of emission rules and all that sort of thing, you don't have high-performance cars anymore. Folks, this is a high-performance car.
It makes Bill crazy when the guys take out the independent rear suspension in favor of a live axle. It made him even crazier when he found out Ford did it. Guys get crazy over the darndest things. Need proof? You're not going to believe this craziness.
All of the, I'm going to call them attractions or events, whatever you want to call it, at the big Joliet show every year are enormously popular. But I got to say, I have a feeling maybe the Mud Turtles event is among the most popular because it packs the people in all day long. And there's a couple of things that make it very, very cool. First of all, you are?
Gordon Vaughn.
And what's your role here today?
Well, I'm the Vice President of the Joliet Mud Turtles.
Okay, and what are you guys doing here?
We are bringing to the public a four-wheel drive event, allowing the people to bring their trucks or SUVs through the mud pit.
As a matter of fact, last year when we were down here, I saw people rolling $50,000 Suburban, four-wheel drive Suburbans and burying them up to the windows here. I'm not talking about professionals, I'm talking about guys off the street with shiny cars.
That's right. There was a brand new H2 Hummer 2 years ago as well.
Unbelievable that people would do that.
Yeah, it's a funny crowd. The four-wheel drive club, four-wheel drive people they just like to go out and challenge themselves and their vehicles.
Absolutely. Now, Chuck, I want you to take your camera shot over here to the right because this is more than just about mud pits. I see mud hills.
That's right. When we dig the mud pits, the mud's got to go somewhere, so we make these obstacle hills, and after they've gone through the pit or before, they can challenge themselves on the uneven parts of the hills.
So they drive over the hills, up and down, almost like a rock climbing type thing, and then come over here and take a dive. And by the way, folks, if you wonder what's going on here, we've got a Jeep that was absolutely buried, and all four wheels are spinning right now, but it looks like it needs a little help from this device.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they can't get through, or sometimes they break down.
I would say most of the times they can't get through.
Yeah, it's funny. The pit's condition changes every hour, so you'll see us putting water in, or we'll just let it dry out sometimes, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got a girl in there. I don't know if Chuck can see her arm sticking out, but she's got as much mud on her as the vehicle does. It looks like they have fun with this stuff.
They certainly do, yes.
Okay, give us an idea, Mud Turtles. How long have you guys been around?
Oh wow, we've been around probably 25 years.
And every year you come down and set this all up for the what we keep calling the Big Joliet Show, rather than say festival and all. It's the Big Joliet Show.
That's right. This is our 7th year, and I just can't believe that the Joliet Park District would allow us to dig a big hole right in their Park District property, but they do every year.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, you know what? I've been dealing with Joliet now probably for about close to 15 years. I have found them unbelievably cooperative. They want to make all this stuff work.
That's right. I started making phone calls about 2 months ago, and they set us up with the fences and the tent and the porta-johns. Very cooperative.
Now, is this guy going to make it? He just backed up and is taking another run, or is he burying himself deeper?
Well, looks like he's going to try to do it again.
I have a feeling once you stop and back up, you're done.
That's usually what happens.
But is he going to make it here? Nah, I don't know. He did it. I can't. Chuck, did you get any of that? He got it. Anyway, listen, anything you'd like the audience to know about the Joliet Mud Turtles, the event that you do here on the Father's Day weekend every year?
Just that it's just a great family event. You'll see the people in the crowd, and they're here. Their kids are with their fathers, and they're looking at a car show. They're watching this.
Could you think of a better deal? As a matter of fact, Chuck, while we're talking, can you see the audience at all from your shot? Go to the audience for a minute. What a great thing. It doesn't cost anything to come down here. What a thing to take Dad to for Father's Day, either Saturday or Sunday. Don't you agree?
Oh, it's the best. As a matter of fact, my daughter lives in northern Wisconsin. She drove down here last night so she could be with us for Father's Day.
We are getting hit with mud clubs, so I think it's time. I don't care, folks, but we can't risk the camera.
We can think of no other car show that includes a mud bog. And remember, anyone can do it. It's entertaining to watch, but I'll bet it's a gas to actually give it a try. Let's take a moment to check it out a little more.
As I said before, guys get crazy over the darndest things. On the other hand, it does look like fun, just not with my Camaro. Let's get back to the car show.
I want to remind the audience that the Big Joliet Show, or the Joliet Father's Day Car Show Festival, features a little bit of everything, and I hope Chuck doesn't get away from that shot too soon, because what I'm looking for is I want to show the audience where the river is, where the drag boats run. So as you pull your camera shot back just a little bit, Chuck, I don't know if the audience can see little pieces of the river in between the bushes and the shrubbery there, but it's there. And as you bring your shot around a little bit further, maybe you can pick up a shot of a drag boat somewhere tucked up underneath the shade there, where the guys are relaxing, waiting for their opportunity to come out and perform on the river. But once again, remember, this is a car show. Very, very important that we don't forget the car show. And as Chuck pulls his camera shot back from there, you can see that we are loaded with cars here today in a very, very nice setting. Once again, I love it when we have a kind of setting where we have trees and people don't have to stand and absolutely boil in the sun. Look what I found, though. We don't include nearly enough of what I'm going to call the imports, except it's not an import, but it's sort of an import, and I bet this guy's going to explain it. You are.
I'm Tim Williford.
Where are you from, Tim?
Coal City, Illinois.
Tell us about your car, please.
It's a 2002 Grand Am. I got it in 2002. I got it painted 3 years ago, just tangerine, and been working on it since. And
now, do you do any of the work?
A little bit. I painted the interior, and I'm working on some of the other stuff.
Would you classify yourself as a car guy?
Yes.
Okay, serious guy?
Somewhat serious, yeah.
Okay, I said import, but not really an import. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, believe me, if you were my age, you would not look at a car this size and say it was a Pontiac.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So things have changed a lot. Do you know what they based these on, or was it like a Mitsubishi chassis? I know that's not, because that's Chrysler and all that. But was it based on an import chassis or no?
No.
No. Okay. So it was all Pontiac built right from the thing. Tell us about it. Engine, driveline.
3.4 liter V6.
What kind of trans?
I'm not sure what kind of trans.
Manual or automatic?
Automatic.
Okay, it's an automatic trans. And what do you do with what do you do with the car?
I store it at my mom's house in Braidwood, and then I come out for shows.
Okay, so you use it strictly for shows and all
Yes,
that? Okay.
yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, it's
Okay.
nice out.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
24.
24. Okay, I'm trying to get a little idea, because typically what happens when we go to these car shows is we will see guys certain ages, and I can almost tell you what kind of car they're going to have by their ages. At 24, I think this is about right. I think this is about right.
Well, thank you.
Okay, if you were dreaming about your next car that you're going to build, what would it be?
Mitsubishi Evolution.
Okay, so you want one of those all-wheel drive, 300-plus horsepower Evos.
Yeah.
Okay. This is particularly interesting to our audience, because things have changed over the years. You know, in my day, guys would be drinking about 409, 409s, and 421 Pontiacs. None of those cars exist anymore. And I am interested in what the young people are dreaming about. You're still dreaming about cars, just different cars.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And by the way, what he's talking about, the Evo, that's one of the baddest rides around that you can get. And but you think the Evo is going to be badder than the Subaru?
I hope so.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you mean.
It's a big
WRX.
WRX, big rivalry there between the Evo and the WRX. Anyhow, and you know what? I can tell you, the more things change, the more they stay the same. That is absolutely no different than my day when it was Ford, Chevy, and then throw in an occasional Mopar. It's amazing how little things really do change.
We always enjoy the big Joliet show because of the variety of activity, from freestyle motocross to drag boats to the mud bog and much more, including bands and entertainment. And it's all free. A great place to take Dad on Father's Day without breaking the bank. Let's check out another great car. I think it's the car we're supposed to check out.
The mud bog is going on hot and heavy over there, folks. They have buried at least another dozen vehicles, and if I didn't point it out before, I want the audience to know that they actually have two mud bogs. They've got the one you saw cars actually kind of making it through, and they've got another one that nobody has made it through yet for the real serious guys. Now, as Chuck brings his camera shot around, you can see we've got a ton of people enjoying themselves in the shade under the trees. This is such a pretty setting for a car show, and to me, that means a lot. The setting of these car shows means a lot. This thing they do down here in Joliet every year is just absolutely wonderful. I can't think of a more ideal setting for it. Now look what I found. A drop-dead gorgeous girl. What I spotted was the 427 big block 4-speed Corvette, and I look around for a guy, because you assume somebody that's got a 427 big block side pipe Corvette 4-speed is going to be a guy, and look what I find. First of all, tell the folks who you are.
Sherry Strapazan.
And where are you from, Sherry?
Coal City.
Tell us about your car, please.
Original owner. It's unrestored, and we only took it out to bring each one of our children home from the hospital in it. It's got 32,000 miles.
You're kidding. That's a brand new car.
Yes.
Wow, what a car. Do you have any idea what that thing's worth now?
No, I've been offered 100,000 cash.
Oh, sure. I'll bet you have. Bear Tracks would love to get their hands on this thing. So you don't really drive it then?
No, not really. I try to keep the mileage down on it, and I always attend this show. It's one of my favorite shows. So
this is a wonderful event that they do down here. It's such a park-like setting, and you, as I understand it, we talked a little before we went on. This is the same place that you park every year, so you get the tree.
10 years. Yes.
And you get the tree.
Oh yeah, I get up early. I get up at 5 in the morning to get this parking place.
Oh, brother. Now, do you like this? I'm going to ask this, and you will forgive me because I think these questions are obvious because you're a pretty girl, and usually this is a real man's car with the side pipes and the 4-speed and all that. Do you enjoy driving a car like that?
Oh, absolutely. I love getting on it.
Really?
Yes.
I'm absolutely shocked. I'm sure you haven't had it to the drag strip or anything, right?
No.
No. I guess plan to just keep the car forever and go to the few shows with it and things like that?
Oh, yes. It'll stay in the family. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
my
good.
husband passed away, so I feel that part of him still lives on through the car.
You know, you're right. You're right. That is guys. And so then it's fair. My observations are fair. This was probably his choice. Come on.
Maybe.
Maybe you would have gotten an automatic in the small block.
Oh, no. We were both into racing, so no.
Okay.
It would have been the big block if it was my choice or his.
Okay, what about the 4-speed?
Oh, absolutely. It's got a Hurst gear shift in it.
Oh, okay, but she's something else, isn't she? Anything that you'd like the audience to know about the car that I haven't thought to ask or didn't notice?
It's radio delete, it doesn't have air conditioning. My husband wanted to roll down the windows and hear the side mounts, so that's what we did. And it remains that way today. That's one of the unique things about it, makes the value a little bit higher.
Yeah, it really is. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't realize that they built cars like that years ago. Things I'm thinking the ZL1 Camaro, for example, you couldn't get it with a heater, you couldn't get it with a radio, it was all that stuff because they didn't want regular people buying them.
No.
They were race cars, and this is sort of kind of a race car too.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what we did. We
So,
raced.
You raced it. I'll
Yes,
tell you
we
something.
did.
She is an absolute delight. I cannot believe it. She's been here for 10 years, and I have never gotten her on camera. I am getting old.
You sure are, Bill. Missing a pretty girl with a great car for 10 years? We're going to have to get him some Geritol. Let's see what he and Chuck found next.
Well, folks, they were just warming up some of the drag boats down there. That always catches your ear. That is such a cool sound, especially when they've got the ones with the supercharger on them and all that. Once again, I want to point out that the annual Joliet Father's Day Car Show Weekend Festival, big show in Joliet. It's too many. It's the big Joliet show. That's all you have to know. This is the big Joliet show every year. It's such a wonderful, picturesque setting. And let me remind you, it's free. What a wonderful place for the kids to bring your dad, come down for the whole weekend or Saturday or Sunday, either way. And don't forget to come Saturday night because that's when they have the bands and the fireworks and all the rest of it. Very cool. Now, talking about bands and fireworks, Chuck, show the audience the car. This is my kind of street rod. First of all, you are?
Gil McBride.
Where are you from, Gil?
Joliet.
Tell us about your car, please.
It's a 1930 Model A sedan. It's been chopped 4 inches.
Is it a steel car?
Yes, it is.
Wow, the fender's steel, everything is steel?
The fenders are the only thing glass on the car.
Okay.
Running boards, everything else is steel. It's got a small block Chevy in it, air conditioning, heat.
What kind of rear end?
It's got a Nova rear end in it.
Trans?
It's got a 400 turbo.
Okay, beautiful traditional American street rod. What do you use it for? Do you actually drive it, or is it strictly a show car?
No, I drive it. I bought it to drive, and that's what I'm going to do with it.
Now, did you buy it this way, or did you build it?
No, it was done.
Okay, now my question is, usually somebody that has this kind of a car is a guy that wants to build a car. What would provoke a guy that didn't want to build one to want to have one? And I'm just curious because we want all the people in the motorsport community that we can get, and I want to encourage others to do so if you have some wisdom there.
It's just, I think it's got a lot to do with our youth.
Okay.
And if you even look around the thing today, the younger generation, the cars are different, but the motorsports part's still there.
You know, it's interesting you say that. Just a few interviews ago, I made that point. The guy was talking about which I said, if you were dreaming about a car, what would it be? And he was between a Mitsubishi Evo and a WRX. You know what? It's just like us with Ford and Chevy from years ago.
Exactly.
It really hasn't changed.
No.
The cars have changed, but the enthusiasm and all that is still the same.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
I'm 48.
Okay, you're a little young for this because I was thinking that somebody wants this has seen the Annette Funicello movies and the Frankie Avalon, the Beach Blanket Bingo and all, where they had the street rods in them. Did you see any of that stuff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that sort of influenced you and all that?
Yeah.
Anything I haven't noticed about your car that you think you'd like the audience to know?
It's not a high tech. It's a little bit modern and a little bit old school.
Okay, and what he's talking about, folks, is there's several ways, just like with the choppers, there's several ways to do them. You can do them old school and give them that look like we would have had in the 50s and 60s, but try to put a little bit of modern stuff in them so they stay running like they didn't used to back then. And it's kind of the same thing with this. I've seen a couple of guys build the car that was an American Graffiti, that coupe, which was definitely an old school kind of coupe. Had the right look, but you can also come back and do something like this and do it absolutely modern, slam it to the ground, digital instruments everywhere and all.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And you didn't want that?
No. And funny you mentioned that because I had Paul Milner, he autographed my dash in here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's a great car. Chuck, show the audience the car. This is just, there's so many ways to enjoy motorsports. This is another way, having a fine traditional American street rod and driving it.
It's hard to believe we haven't shown you even 1% of the Joliet Father's Day Car Show Festival, and we're almost out of time. You just have to attend these events in person to really see everything. We can only bring you a taste. Let's see if we can squeeze in one more car.
Well, folks, as you can see, the drag boats have been called to the line, so very shortly they're going to be tearing up the river. Matter of fact, Chuck, if you pan your shot to the right, you can see another one coming along. They park them down here so people can take a look at the boats and enjoy the boats technically. And after that, at a certain time, I think they're going to perform at 2:30 this afternoon and again this evening. They call the boats to the line and they go down a few miles down the river, get themselves in the water and get prepared. Now, Chuck, you can come over this way, pull your camera shot back, and check out this great Camaro we've got. I thought we'd had it on the program before. Sure seems similar to the one I've seen. It's not often you see a beautiful candy apple paint job like this. First of all, you are.
Michael Galligan.
Where are you from, Mike?
Joliet.
Tell us about your car, please.
It's a 67 Camaro modified from what it was. It was a 6-cylinder, 3-speed on the com, all stock. I took it and put a built 350 engine in it. I've got a M21 transmission. I've got 373 posi gears in the rear end, and it's my little toy. And I'm trying to put it together every little bit every year.
That's absolutely perfect, and it's the way I would do it. We talk about this a lot. Everybody wants a Yanko Camaro. Everybody wants this. I don't want any of those. You can't drive them. They're too valuable. I want a car you can drive. I always said what I do if I wanted like that, I'll get an old 6-cylinder automatic and stick all the big stuff into it and not be afraid of getting T-boned in an intersection. You know what I mean? I think that's what you had in mind.
Right. Well, I've got pride in this car because I know
it's a great car, but what I mean is Yanko Camaros are $500,000 cars
Yes,
now.
they are.
You know, you can't drive those anymore.
Well, no, you can't because they're all in a museum.
Right.
Because there's only so many of them,
right.
and they're worth too much money.
Right, and these things, while fine a car as it is, you can actually take it out and drive it and fix it and
Oh,
repair it.
I absolutely drive it every day, and I drive it and I work on it, and it's a absolutely fantastic
Now,
car.
did you do any of the work?
Yes, I did most of the mechanical work on, and I did not do the body.
The body is about as slick as I've ever seen. That's about as straight a job as you can get.
Well, it looks pretty good to me. It's actually been painted for 6 years, so the body's actually got a little bit of wear and tear on the paint job.
Well, you can't tell. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love the fact that you got a 4-speed. Well, you know what? I always try to judge when I look at people, do they have a 4-speed or an automatic? And I looked at it, I said, I think he's probably kind of a 4-speed guy. Is that what your preference was?
Well, absolutely. If you've got a built motor and you're out to race a little bit, you got to have a 4-speed.
You get it.
You've got to be able to move that car the way you want it to move and not let the transmission dictate what you want to do.
It's about being involved in the ride, not just being on the ride.
Exactly. It's about you and the ride together as one.
Absolutely. Anything I haven't noticed about your car that you're particularly proud of that you'd like the audience to know?
Well, just that I put the old SS Krager rims on there like they used to have in the old times.
Thank you. That's my era, but thank you.
And yeah, that's the only thing I could put on this car because that's what goes with it.
It does go with it. It really does look appropriate, and the color is perfect. My motorcycle's that color.
I love it. That's my favorite color.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Well, listen, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us. And folks, by the way, they have a large contingent here of folks that are not from Joliet because the Joliet Father's Day Car Show Weekend has become such a very big deal. People come from all over, but I want you to know they also have lots of Joliet folks with some great cars.
If we hurry, we can get to the water and watch a little drag boat action.
drag boats, mud bog, freestyle motocross, and much we haven't shown you, including the sport bikes, a burnout contest featuring nitro cars, bands, fireworks. But we're out of time, with only enough left to acknowledge the fine work of our award-winning production team, including Chuck Itzenthaler, Sue Casanda, our webmaster Frank Barbalace, Rena Borwitz, and Tom McGrady. Special thanks to JBTV's Jerry Bryant. Music is created for us by independent artists Roger Pauley and Jerry Herbert. Of course, we have to take a moment to thank the stars of this edition of Motorsports Unlimited. Patty Borwitz, Janine Lashat, and our host, Bill Wildt. Me, I'm Samantha Bentley, reminding you the Joliet Father's Day Car Show Festival is the largest, most elaborate of all the summer car shows. And it's free. Don't miss it next year. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
This program made possible in part by support from ABC Auto Parts, located on Ashland Avenue at 138th Street in Blue Island, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Bridgestone Firestone and your local Bridgestone Firestone tire retailers.
This program made possible in part by support from Copy That, located in the County Farm Plaza at County Farm Road and Army Trail Road in Carroll Stream, Illinois.
Motorsports Unlimited is produced by Bill Wildt, president of the Motorsport Advancement Crusade.
This program made possible in part by support from PB Food Products, located on 47th Street at Western Avenue in Chicago, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from J.C. Whitney & Company, located just off I-80 at the Utica exit in LaSalle, Illinois.
This program made possible in part by support from Jimmy's Red Hots, located on Grand Avenue and Pulaski Road in Chicago.
This program made possible in part by support from the Chicagoland Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade, held on Western Avenue in Chicago, the first Sunday in December. Motorsports Unlimited was created to raise public consciousness, understanding, and appreciation of the motorsport community and their activities. You can contact us by email at msutv.com, or you can write to Motorsport, P.O. Box 66242, Chicago, Illinois, 60666. We enjoy hearing from our audience. Please let us know what you think.
Next week on Motorsports Unlimited, we're taking you to the 5th Annual Lions Father's Day Car Show. From the spectacular Joliet Big Show you just watched to the charm of the Lions Residential Street Event, we couldn't be more pleased to bookend our 999th and 1,000 shows with two completely different Father's Day events, both with their own kind of pleasure. Join us next week on Motorsports Unlimited and see what we mean.
So that's it, another edition of Motorsports Unlimited and the lovely ladies of motorsports. And be with us next week because we'll have something real exciting. Bill Wildt's going to have the lovely ladies, and just about anything can happen right here on Motorsports Unlimited. Every week at this time, we bring you the best in motorsports. So be seeing ya. Bye-bye, and keep on rocking.